Hey, what's up? I'm Casey and this is CaseyReacts. Today we're going to be going over LifeProTips on Reddit. People post in LifeProTips to give any kind of tips or advice about life and everything in general. It's really helpful stuff. Alright, let's get right into it. Compliment others. People aren't always bragging. Sometimes they're just hoping you'll be proud of them. It might seem like they're bragging sometimes, but usually they just want you to acknowledge their accomplishments. I completely agree with this. I think complimenting others is very important. Everybody feels great whenever they get a compliment. Now, mind you, make sure it's just a compliment. Don't get really creepy like a lot of people tend to do. But as long as you're not going to get creepy, people love getting compliments. It makes you feel good, it makes them feel good, it makes everybody feel good if you just give a random compliment and go about your day. Always be willing to compliment others. Even if it's just saying, hey, that's a really nice hat. You'll see the people smile. You'll see them brighten up. It'll really be a nice addition to their day. If you've been eyeing something on Etsy, make sure to favorite that item. The seller will get notified and will often send you a promo or discount code. It's a good way to get 10 to 15% off. Now, I don't sell or buy from Etsy, so I'm not 100% sure on this, but if this advice works, take it. I've never heard one person ever say, I don't want a 10 to 15% discount. Everybody wants a discount. It's very helpful. Take the money. Take the advice. Take the discount. A blanket under you can be just as good as a blanket on top of you. Especially in colder climates, camping, or sleeping on an air mattress, the fabric underneath you acts as a heat barrier. I didn't believe this until I moved to a new house, no heater, and only a blow-up mattress. I slept with 6 blankets on me and I woke up cold. I switched to 3 under me and 3 on top and I was toasty. A very minor example, but it works in a lot of cases. If you ever wind up homeless, make sure you do this. If you're sleeping out on the sidewalk, the ground is way too cold for you to not have something underneath you. Your body is not hot enough to warm the ground underneath you. People die because of this. Your body just has the heat seeped out of it and you freeze to death. It's shocking to hear, but it happens. When going out hiking, always bring a lighter with you. It could mean the difference between life and death. If you're heading off to go on a hike, no matter how short or long, always make sure to bring a lighter with you. This small $2 item, not sure where they're buying a $2 lighter, it's expensive, can mean the difference between life and death, as it can be very easy to get lost while hiking in new locations, and worse yet, we often aren't prepared for it, and weather can change in an instant. Hypothermia is no joke. Having a lighter can quickly aid you in starting a fire, which is of utmost importance, number 1 in survival, in such a scenario. And if you're going to go out hiking, you're going to get a lighter, I'd get one that's water resistant. It costs extra, but it helps very much. You never know if you're going to get lost. You never know if you're going to be staying an extended amount of time. You never know if it's going to rain. So if you have plans to go out and brave the wilderness, spring for the lighter. It's worth it. If you work from home, use your computer to take a photo of your office area when it's spotlessly clean. By setting it as your Zoom background, you can easily trick your coworkers into believing that you're a responsible adult. Now, nobody's really a responsible adult. I mean, boring people maybe, but it's a helpful trick. Alternatively, you can also copy a picture, or better yet, a GIF off of Google of the office in their interview room. Having people move through the background, whenever people notice, it's really satisfying. It's funny. If you're watching a child in a large area, tell them stay where you can see me instead of stay where I can see you. It's way more effective. Keep your children safe. Children wander off. I was a very stupid kid who grew into a very stupid adult. We like to wander off. We like to go run out and play and do whatever. Everybody has seen those videos of people grabbing kids out of nowhere. It happens so fast that if you don't have your eye on them, they're going to be lost forever. Make sure that they can always stay where they see you. That way, if anybody tries to grab them, they can look for you and scream for help. They're a lot more likely if they see you. When you check into a hotel, immediately place your bags onto the bathtub and inspect the room for bed bugs. This will prevent you from getting any on your luggage in case you find any, as the tub is the least likely place to find bed bugs. Bed bugs are no joke. Don't ever risk getting them. Always check reviews, always check the bed, ask people that have been there. You never know. I once stayed in a hotel where the clerk in the morning asked me, hey, how was it? We just recently fumigated for bed bugs. I don't know why the front desk guy would have thought that was a good idea, but after I looked up reviews, he was right. They had complaints for bed bugs. It's disgusting, and if you get those things, luckily I didn't, they're nearly impossible to get out without burning everything you own. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point. Check for bed bugs. Whenever you start judging someone for something they can't control, Tell yourself this: your insecurities are showing. It'll stop you from being mean for no reason. I've been doing this for a while, and it's significantly improved my mental health, and I've become more empathetic. I have many insecurities about my body, my lack of employment, material things, but somehow I see someone and start thinking about how bad their outfit is, or how cheap their car is, or how a certain facial feature isn't pretty. That's when one day it hit. This is my defense mechanism. I'm so insecure that I jump on the opportunity, although all of this happens in my own mind, to criticize what other people have and try to feel better because I'm not like them. But I've been depressed before because I couldn't change certain things about myself. I still sometimes feel unpretty. I'm old enough to be working, but I still got no job or car. Since I started reminding myself and started telling myself that exact phrase, I've been feeling better about myself and have been feeling kinder towards people too. I haven't chosen many problems that I currently have, and they probably haven't too. If I bring someone down because of something they may or may not choose, then I should expect the same thing done to me, and I'll be going in circles. Judging people for the sake of feeling superior will never be the answer. Remember that. This is really good and wholesome advice. This is something almost everybody does. I know I catch myself doing it. I'll look at someone and think to myself, wow, this thing or this part of them looks horrible, or anything along those lines. And it makes me feel better about myself, but I have to remind myself, hey, don't do that. It's not cool, and you'd hate it if someone was doing that to you. It might feel good in the beginning, but eventually you'll notice yourself becoming a very hateful person. Nobody wants to become a hateful person. Everybody does it unconsciously, but you have to train yourself to not do this. A job that you want at age 20 might not be a job that you want at age 40, and that's okay. People put too much pressure on staying at the same job for years, even though it does nothing for them. People change their minds all the time for minor things. It's okay to change your mind about your job as well. There's regular college, community college, and trade school to look into. Make sure you know your options. Those of you who've had multiple jobs in different areas of life, you understand. I'm only 24 years old, and I've been a banker, I've been a cashier, several accounts, several different stores. I've been a deli worker, a groundskeeper, a FedEx driver, a driver for Little Debbie, and an insurance salesman. It's easy to get confused about what you want in life, but don't let that discourage you. Don't let multiple jobs discourage you. It might be good for you to work those multiple jobs so you can see how things are done on the other side. You never know. But it's never too late to find what you want in life. When fertilizing shrubs and trees, throw some additional fertilizer on a small patch of grass. That patch will turn greener and fuller over time. When the patch looks the same as the rest of the grass, it's time to fertilize the shrubs again. This is good in theory. However, eventually you're going to start to notice, wow, the rest of my yard really looks terrible compared to that one small patch of grass. Just looks very, very unhealthy. I'm no gardener, so this is just an assumption, but it's probably better just to set yourself on some sort of a schedule for fertilizing your shrubbery. Don't throw your old phone away. Use it as a dedicated media player. Take the SIM out. Remove all apps except Kindle and Media Player, switch to airplane mode, and load up the memory with all your movies, ebooks, podcasts, music, and audiobooks, and use it just for media. Without any comms or other background processes, the battery will last for ages, and it's ideal for long journeys and days on the beach. You could also turn the screen brilliance down and animations off. Save your new phone for power-hungry internet, social media, calls, and messages. This one's pretty good in theory, not so great in practice. Most people use streaming services. Most people use streaming for everything. So keeping it and using it just as a media player doesn't make sense. Honestly, you'd get your money's worth just by trading it in for your new phone. Unless your phone has zero value, then maybe give it to someone else. Gift it. Always tidy or clean your room before you leave anywhere. If you had a bad day, you'll be surprised how coming back to a neat room will bring you some peace. I started this habit, which has really improved my mental health. A clean, tidy room brings me some peace and just puts things into perspective. After a crappy day, we usually run to our rooms, so it just helps to run into something tidy and clean in my opinion. Life is a mess sometimes. May as well control what we can. You see, this advice sounds great if you don't hate yourself like I do. You see, if you hate yourself like I do, you're gonna go, leave your room dirty, then come home, look at your room and say, ugh, man, that's so dirty, I gotta clean it. Then you're gonna sit down, grab some food, and watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then you're gonna do the exact same thing tomorrow. The show might be a different show, but you get the point. How to talk with a human at the IRS. The IRS telephone number is 1-800-829-1040, and they are available from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time, Monday through Friday. The first question the automated system will ask you is to choose your language. Once you've set your language, don't choose option 1 regarding refund info. Press 2 for answers about your personal income taxes instead. Next, press 1 for questions about form you have already submitted. Next, press 3 for all other questions. Next, press 2 for all other questions. When the system asks you to enter your social security number or employee identification number to access your account information, don't enter anything. After it asks twice, you'll be prompted with another menu. Next, press 2 for personal or individual tax-related questions. Finally, press 4 for all other inquiries. The system should transfer you to an agent. I don't really have anything to comment on this one, but it's pretty good for tax season. I know tax season is almost over, but it's still worth it. Being humble and open to the possibility that you could be wrong actually makes you look smarter than if you act like you know everything. I meet way too many people who act like they know everything and are cocky instead of confident. This makes you actually look stupid because of how unaware you are of how you're coming off negatively. People will actually view you as smart if you're confident with what you know, but admit or at least are open to learning something from someone else. I can't stress this enough. It's a great idea to do that. You never want to pretend that you know everything, because the second that someone finds out that you don't know something, your whole reputation that you tried to set up for yourself is going to be ruined. You seem a lot more mature as well just to tell yourself, hey, I don't know everything, but I'm open to learning new things. Instead of dropping $5 for 6 magic erasers, buy melamine sponges off of Amazon. You can get 100 for less than 25, and they're the same thing as magic erasers. Now, that's a great tip, unless you just buy it like I do, just so you can ogle at Mr. Clean. He's everything I want to be and everything my wife wants me to be. Get to know your car, new or used. Even if you're not the most mechanical person, take the time to learn what's going on under the hood. Learn the common problems associated with your car's brand too. It could also help you be aware of garage scams charging you extra fees on non-needed work. If you're like me and you don't really know much about cars, then just learn the basics. Learn how to check your fluid levels. Learn how to check your tires. Learn how to change a tire. Change out your windshield wipers. Any of these things will be very, very helpful in the future. Also, a lot of car manufacturers will give you pretty good rates whenever it comes to fixing any kind of problems if you just take it into the dealership itself. Always ask about that if you're going to get a car. If you want to give to an organization and don't know which ones will do the most good for your charitable donation, go to charitynavigator.com or givewell.org. They're loaded with information on nearly all major charity and relief organizations, including financial data and rankings by category. And yes, there are some charities that turn nearly every penny of your donation into program support, and virtually none of it for administration or other shenanigans. And if you don't have the money to spare, but do have extra canned and jarred food lying around, your local food pantry will appreciate it. This is some great advice. I wish I had this back whenever I used to donate my hair. I used to grow it out for a couple of years, donate it to Locks of Love, and then regrow it out again. But after I found out that they charge their patients, I stopped giving there. I don't want to donate to a place that's a for-profit organization. But it would have been nice to know about this kind of stuff. That way I could find one that wasn't for profit. If you're watching recorded videos of lectures, add timestamps to your lecture notes for every 2 to 3 pages. As most of the studying has moved completely online, one may have trouble understanding a few topics after some time. So, if you're watching a recorded version of the video and the lecture has slides or annotated notes, add timestamps to those notes for every 2 to 3 pages with the lecture number. You may not really remember or understand that one topic you thought you would remember or understand. It takes hardly any time, but it saves a lot of trouble later when you want to revisit the course at the end. It also just helps if you're a very, very unorganized person like myself. Teenagers, try to see the ages 18 to 25 as your last chunk of school rather than the beginning of adulthood. When you're under 25, your brain is still growing. Where you choose to spend the last part of your adolescence will be more memorable than your late 20s and the rest of your life. Try to see this part of your life as another phase of your education, where you have ultimate freedom to go to lessons, gain skills, plan your future, and yes, party and make friends whether or not you're still in formal education. Instead of seeing this time as the beginning of your adulthood, try to see it as the closing phase of your education. You'll panic less about not having your future all figured out at 18 and make better choices for yourself. There are very few wrong ways you can spend your time in your life, so figure out what you like. Need ideas for meals? The food box subscription companies usually post all the ingredients and the cooking instructions right in their website. The cheaper food boxes use everyday ingredients and spices that most of us actually have in our homes. My wife and I did something similar to this for a few months. We would order HelloFresh, not a sponsor, just like them, and we would keep the recipes. After we had so many, built up for months, we just keep reusing them. If you want to go to their website, it's great, but it's better if you can try their food and actually have it. I'm not sure how it works with other websites, but I know that it works with them. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to come back throughout the week for more content. Please like and subscribe to help keep this channel going. Have a great week.